welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on issues in the electricity sector in Nigeria and how it affects everyone. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back.
The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has lost its second president, Ali Ciroma, who served the working people for 7 decades. Ali Ciroma served as the president of the NLC during the military rule and was exemplified in the epoch of the resistance by the Congress and its allies in the naval movement against the Structural Adjustment Program (SAP) of the General Ibrahim Babangida administration. A large crowd of colleagues and supporters attended the third-day prayer for the former NLC president at his residence in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. The crowd at the prayer included top government officials, politicians, journalists, family members, and friends. Also in attendance were members of the NLC, led by its president, Joe Ajero. Some of the guests described the late Ali Ciroma as a dedicated unionist, true champion and fearless leader who dedicated his life to the protection of welfare of Nigerian workers. Ali Ciroma served as the president of the NLC between 1984 and 1988.
Late Ali Ciroma is an epitome of the struggle and epitome of courage. He was the president of NLC at the most difficult moment in the history of NLC. That is at the twin light of military dictatorship. He was the president, as at the time, most mortals would not want to lead or step out to lead the NLC. He was the president at a time that required both courage and intellectual, vigor for you to survive as NLC president.
Ali Ciroma, to me, you know that he was my mentor, and he was also my principal. I am a product of the School of Health Technology, and he's an embodiment of courage and sacrifice. He's somebody that is well celebrated, even beyond the shores of Nigeria. At the International Labour Organization, where he served on the governing body for 6 years, his records are still there, and I was happy to step into his shoes based on those records. So we are going to miss him, and certainly is a good example for oncoming generation of leaders to inculcate some of his attributes of courage, because leadership without courage means nothing.
Earlier in the week, President Bola Tinubu sent a condolence message to the family of Ali Ciroma over the passing of the elder statesman. The president sympathizes with organized labor and everyone affected by the painful loss. President Tinubu affirmed that late Ciroma stood up for the independence of the NLC and defended the downtrodden when it mattered the most. Ali Ciroma died at the age of 91.
The Private Telecommunications and Communications Senior Staff Association of Nigeria has suspended its planned strike, which was to begin on April the 4th, 2024. Its General Secretary, Okonu Abdullahi, said the suspension of the strike was as a result of agreements reached with the subcontractors it had issues with. The union had earlier announced plans to embark on an indefinite strike over alleged unresolved issues with subcontractors linked with Huawei Technologies Nigeria Limited. The subcontractors included Remy Group, Allstream Energy Solutions Limited, Upper Crest Limited, Tylium Nigeria Limited, and Specific Tools and Techniques Limited. During an exclusive interview with the General Secretary of the union, he reeled out agreements reached between the workers and their employers.
80% will be remitted into their pension account monthly. Then also health facilities will be provided for not only them, their spouses, and their at least four dependents. Then as well, life group assurance must also be put in place. And other ones that we have issues, we have issues with, likewise I remember leave and leave allowance now. Yeah, at least minimum, according to ILO convention, minimum leave days for our members is 21 working days. But these people, these employers, the subcontractors, are not doing that. What they do is less than 14 days. Even in some instances, they don't even allow them to go on leave. When they go, they'll call them, please, it's an emergency, please quickly come back. And our members, they will dash back, do the job, and they are not even compensated on that. So leave and leave allowances and other issues pertaining to their welfare will be taken care of by the collective bargaining agreement, which is one of those things that has been agreed upon that will be commenced latest in a month's time.
The tariff is going to affect business operations, it's going to affect the home front, the budget, and then we need more information, we need more explanation. Why is the tariff increased? Are we going to get value at the end of the day? Are we assured that with this increased tariff there will be better delivery from the electricity suppliers? Will there be better? But definitely prices will go up, because, and even at home we'll be more conscious of. I've seen information on this appliance consumes this consumes, so I think we'll manage our usage better, but we also I hope that we get better delivery from these increments. I personally feel helpless. I don't know, what can we do? Tariff is increased without prior notice, without prior knowledge is increased, and we hope there's better delivery.
Basically, I feel like it's going to take a great toll on people. An average Nigerian citizen is getting like a 30,000 naira salary, and it would basically like ruin a lot of things. I feel like for store owners, for people that have like businesses that sell like this drinks and all, it's going to have like an increment in most prices of like little things. Like they're just going to be adding like an amount. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to like spoil a lot of things. It pays us in a way too. I hope there's like electricity. I know the most times it just increases and then there's no even lights, right? So I hope it like does something better.
I think it's going to affect the common masses actually. Majorly in Nigeria, we pay for light that we don't use. It's even better for those that use prepaid. But the increase in the tariff will surely affect those that use prepaid too. So the number of units will reduce. Yes, the number of units will reduce. I think it's going to affect the common masses. So the other option, which is the generator, so the fuel is actually not cheap also. So it's going to affect everybody. But if they can guarantee that there's going to be light, I think it will be better. So we won't be paying for what we are not using, because in many areas they're actually paying for what they are not using. Just imagine a situation where you have like maybe just twice, just 2 days within 30 days, and when they give you the bill you still see the same amount. That means you are paying for 30 days in which you use the light for just 2 days, and if you didn't pay they will just cut the light. So if they can guarantee that there's going to be light, then the increase, we can still consider that.
On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the Acting General Secretary of NUEE. He brought us up to speed on how workers are faring in the electricity sector, while emphasizing on the need for the federal government to call for a state of emergency in the electricity sector. Take a listen. It's good to have you on the program, sir, and congratulations on your appointment. It's the first time I'll be having a conversation with you.
Thank you.
Very quickly, let's move on to the crux of the matter today, which is the increase in electricity tariff. I know that the Nigerian Union of Electricity employees have their experience with government before now. First, how is the union actually receiving this information that we're just getting?
Well, thank you. I know the union are Nigerians, and we know the kind of poverty situation in the country now. So the increase is 8 times. I think the government would have paid more attention in making sure there is accessibility to electricity for Nigerians before you think of increasing the tariff. And from the tariff increase, from 68 naira to 225 naira, that means over 300% increase. And it's definitely going to affect the businesses. Now, diesel is in the high cost of 1,500, 1,600. How many people can afford it? The pandemic they are talking of is the bourgeois, the elites, which controls just 15% of the population. What happened to others? As a businessman, I can decide to give those people living in Ikoyi, VI, 24 hours electricity and collect my money. But what of the people living at Ikorodu, Yanabaja, Ibeju? How would I don't know Nigerians? The target of Bank A is impoverishing Nigerians the more. The poverty people cannot even afford to eat. And you are talking of mega minimum wage of 30,000 naira. And you are now inflicting more injuries to Nigerians. The government should feel so empathic about what is happening in the country. This tariff increase is not a way. It's totally not accepted by the union. We are against it.
Okay, now we know that the electricity sector was privatized at a particular point in time. And it was sold out to some people who are managing it at the moment. How would you rate the performance of the discos and the gencos?
I think it was last 2 years, even the Senate are calling for review of the privatization sector. Even the vice president there said that Professor Osibanjo said that the need for the review the whole process. It has not worked. Privatization has not worked in Nigeria. Because since after privatization, they have not added 1 megawatt to the system. Rather, what they do is to collect the money. And they make more money in estimated bills. And government are giving the directive to go and give meters, mass metering, but none. You cannot even afford to buy any meter now. There's no meter. So what is the Regulatory Commission doing on how to make sure that Nigerians have meters? Because if I have a meter, I can say, okay, I buy 5,000 naira, I'll manage it. When it finishes, I recharge again. But when you're on a estimated bill, I can come and arrest, okay, this hybrid area or this locality, I'll give you 100,000. 100,000 for electricity bill. Well, I'm not sure of eating 3 times a day. It's like pouring fuel inside fire to burn. People are angry. And it's clear that he has not won. They should be thinking of how to review, to reform the sector. The banks are after the discourse because they collected money from the banks. Rather, what they're after is how much they're going to make. And they're making so much, they're making Nigerians. We are paying for darkness. I am talking as a Nigerian.
So moving away from the gencos and the discos performance, what are the practical solutions to this problem so that we do not have to pay for darkness?
I think the best solution we can do is going to alternative sources of energy. There's wind, there's sun, especially in the north. That way I can harvest other sources of energies. Some countries are going to that. In South Africa now, they have solar farms, wind farms, turbines where they generate another source of energy apart from the normal hydro and thermal generation. So these are the areas we are looking at. What do we do to revamp the sector? What do we do to get other sources of energies to add to what we have? If we are talking of moving from fossil fuel to green energy, but now we even have the fossil fuel. There are a lot of coal in Kogi and Enugu being abandoned. Nothing is happening. So these are the things you need to do. What do we do? For instance, the private sector has failed in the energy sector. And the truth the privatization was done based on the buyers are the sellers. The same people that sold it and the same people that bought it. Man no man, paddy paddy. That's just the truth. And that's the pain of industrialization. That's the pain of economic development. Without light, no country develops without electricity.
So the question now would be that what is the practical solution to this particular challenge of us as a country or as workers providing electricity that is needed? We know that government has a bigger role to play. What if the private sector actually came in and there's not much significant improvement? What then is the solution? Will you be recommending public-private partnership? Would you be recommending that banks that have taken over these entities should they be invited by government, and government should acquire the properties once again so that they probably would get a hold of what is happening in the sector? What are the practical things that needs to be done from the workers' perspective?
What they did with so-called privatization was calling a dog a bad name to hang it. Because the same obsolete machines that are still using, the same machine they say that are obsolete, that's the same machine that are still using up to now. And it has failed. Not that they have increased around 5 times tariffs increase in this country after privatization, and it has not worked. So what we are going to ask him for the review of the whole process, come back to the drawing board. What did you do and doing it right? Calling the private sector, calling the public government. If you have the government that had that political will, they can do it.
So are you saying now that
it can be commercialized? It can be commercialized. Some people have licenses. If I have license, I can say, okay, in this local government, let me generate and transmit and distribute and make my money. But some people have license. Up to now, have not generated 1 watt. And I still there. So that's the issue there.
And what should be done to people that fall into that category? What should be done to them? And I would like to quickly ask, the model that is being adopted in Abia State, is this something that we can actually adopt as a country? Is it any cheaper?
It is. It may be. That's why that competition comes in. In geometric, that's where Abia getting the light. I have an option to geometric that give me 20 hours light, or go to EDC that give me 5 hours or whatever. It then means I've given an option, a leaflet to choose. Geometric, yes, give my director and partner with the governor of Abia State and give the 24 hours light. Bravo. Then it's left for the Abians now to decide which one is better for me. Is I should go with EDC that gives me lower tariff but less hours of light, or I go to a geometric that gives me 24 hours light and I pay higher.
So if that's the situation, from the workers' perspective, once again, is it something that can be modeled across the 36 states of the country?
It can be a submission because it was a state-owned, which we don't know how they got the whatever the workers' conditions and everything they did there. But what we are looking at, yes, we can learn from what they did and improve on it. They can suggest that government should take back the sector in the country. The government should take back the sector in the country and sit down and look at it. Commercialize it, yes. If I'm able to generate and distribute, give me that license. But not idea of being the buyers and the sellers that don't have no even experience to run the sector. No foreign direct investment came into the sector. Rather, what they did was to collect money from Nigerian banks. No managerial expertise. So that's the main problem of this. No new technology. It's the same old set of network PSN that are still using. The same old transformers. The same old distribution network. None has changed. Most times now, Nigerians buy transformers for their community and invite the companies to come and connect, which is abnormal. So that's the problem. So we have to look at it holistically. How do you move from where we are? We are not heard from because Abia model just started now. You need to look at the issues they're going to have. So we won't jump into it. But it gives them a leverage of commercial an option. EDC is not give me 10 hours. Geometry is giving me 20 hours. Which one do I go? Based on my salary. Based on affordability. So that's the problem there.
So, fine, we know that most of this acquisition is now run by banks. What is the welfare of even the workers in the sector? One would assume that since Nigerians are paying more, maybe you workers are actually the greatest beneficiary. What has it been like?
If it's that one, we will ask them to increase the tariff so we can get more money. That's the truth. If you are looking at that, workers being so insensitive. But look at, we are talking as Nigerians now. The more tariff they collect, the union will go down and ask for more salary. But for how many people are working in the electric sector? What happened to others? So we're looking at it as a Nigerian concept. What do we do? I know President Tinubu can do it. He has the political will to do it. That political will used to declare state of emergency, removal of subsidy in petroleum sector. If you go ahead and declare state of emergency in the electric sector and sit down and let's look at the whole scenario and come out with a blueprint on how to make it work. If you ask us to ask for salary increase, yes, we say, yeah, let them increase it to 500 naira. After all, the workers will benefit. The more tariff, the more salary we ask for. But we are not being selfish. We are being empathic because we are Nigerians. That's the thing there. So if we affect the common man, people are already hungry. The agitation, people don't eat 3 times a day. And the same 30,000 salary you are still earning. Transportation is there, school fees, housing is there. Then now, tariff. And most of them there are being estimated bills. And the NAC are not making an effort to make sure that the discourse going to that mass meeting the other day, they're not liberating them. And that would have been the first thing to do before I talk of tariff increase. Because if the increase is for the bourgeois, it's for the big guys, the elites there. And because it's cheaper for them, instead of running this of 1,500 a litre, they prefer to pay 200, even 250, even 300 to get to 4 hours life. It's better for them. But how many people can afford it? The barbers, the saloons. How can they pay that?
So finally, what will be your word for the government? What will be your word for your employers and Nigerians at large?
Nigerians, yes, let me start from Nigerians. I know when we are fighting privatizations, Nigerians were saying that we are scared of losing our jobs. But now, they are talking now. We are saying that there's no gain in privatization. Privatization does not guarantee efficiency, does not guarantee effectiveness of the sector. And that's what we are in now. So Nigerians are talking last. And everybody knows that now that the privatization has failed in the country. And the government should take the bull by the horn and come down and call these relevant stakeholders to discuss and come up with a blueprint on how to revamp the economy. Because this is the bane of economic development in any country. If you get the electricity right, other things will fall in. And in this case, they're enjoying it because of tariffs increase. Yes, they're smiling to the banks. And people are crying. That's why sometimes when they go to the school, they attack our members. Because some of them are paying for darkness. They wait for you when you climb to come down now. Some of them will use juju, some of them will use machetes. It's happening everywhere. So this goes down, decide to, okay, let me not give the people that attack us, the bourgeois in the city, give them 24 hours, 20 hours light, and give the other ones 4 hours light, 2 hours light, 1 hour light a day. We are not sure of. Some are not even in the band at all. Some people that don't even have light once in a week, each band will give them band 0 or be some band words. So that's the big problem. So you have to come back and look at the whole scenario. All decks, all hands must be on deck to make sure the electricity sector is revamped in this country.
So what do you think government can do to even stop the discrimination? Because I think it's discriminating for you to have band A, band B, band C. What can the government do? Is it declare a state of emergency? Is it to have a conference where every stakeholder will be seated to find a lasting solution so that we can have a country that is working efficiently for industries and for citizens as well?
Yes, like I said before, I see we treat it. The need for us to call all stakeholders to a round table and discuss and look for a way forward and look for possible solutions to this epileptic power supply in the country. Industries are closing up. A lot of industries are closing up. A lot of organizations are moving out of Nigeria because of epileptic power situation in the country. So all of us will look at it and say, what do we do that we didn't do right? Where do we go from there? How do we make it better? That's the selling question we ask. Everybody, the market women be involved, the local government, the student union, all what do they call it?
Holders.
The activists. Yes, everybody should be involved. All relevant stakeholders should be involved. Both the private sector, the government, the manufacturing association, the market women, non-informal sectors, formal sectors will be involved for them to discuss this issue and move a way forward.
Thank you very much for your time. It was an interesting conversation I had with you. And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.